in Boston, Tufts University. There's video showing this. A Turkish student, she's a doctoral student at Tufts University, woman, walking home, I guess. No, leaving home, walking to meet friends. This is last night. She is 30 years old and a doctoral student at Tufts on a student visa, legal student visa in the United States. Was approached by, I take it, 5 men wearing masks, yelling at her with the police, and basically dragging her into an unmarked van, throwing her in the back and driving away. Now, it could very well be that this woman is the mastermind behind a terrorist organization that is planning terrorist attacks in the United States, and this is all done in order to protect the lives and liberty of all of us. But I don't know. I think that's unlikely. Much more likely is that this woman said some things pro-Hamas, which are despicable, granted, but said some things. I think she was involved in the writing of an op-ed that was critical of the way Tufts University handled some of the demonstrations, and clearly she was pro-Hamas. No evidence, by the way, that she participated or was active or was in a leadership position of any demonstrations, or that she committed any trespassing or vandalism or any of the things that others have been accused of. But she, I think, was grabbed by men with covered faces, masks, like in a third world dictatorship, in unmarked vehicles, and sped away to a jail. The university, Tufts University, has said that the university had no pre-knowledge of this incident and will not share any information with federal authorities did not share any information with federal authorities prior to the event, so not clear on what basis, what information they had. It's gone before a judge, luckily. I mean, she's lucky. She's actually going to appear before a judge. The reality is that if you were from Venezuela, or assumed to be from Venezuela, and you maybe had some tattoos that looked maybe vaguely like gang tattoos, you were whisked away by masked men in unmarked cars, and you never saw a judge. You were placed on a plane, flown to El Salvador, and placed in probably one of the most brutal jails in this hemisphere. For how long? How long are they going to be in jail? Nobody knows. They don't know. They were told, you might be here for the rest of your life. Many of the people whisked away like that were not even gang members. But even if they're gang members, whisking away in the, masked men, unidentified cars, no judge, put on planes, sent to jail. God, that sounds like Stalin, Mao, Maduro. It does not sound like the United States of America. Anyway, luckily for this student, she is in front of a judge who has ordered the government to, by Friday, give answers about why she was detained, and basically ordered that she not be moved outside the District of Massachusetts without providing advance notice, given the fact that we've seen people whisked away to jails in foreign countries. I didn't know that was a thing, that America did that. Yeah, granted, we did that with terrorists in undisclosed locations, places all over the world where certain terrorists were tortured, by the CIA, but not on American soil. Granted, that was done with people that there was a high degree of certainty who were terrorists. These are not terrorists. I mean, even if she is one of those vandals and ultimately there's a reason to deport her. Let's say she Let's say she's broken the law, she's done horrible things, she hasn't killed anybody, and she's not planning terrorist attacks. But let's say they found a link where she sent money to Hamas. Then yeah, there's a legal process. You arrest her. You don't do it with masked men and disclosed cause. You arrest her. You bring her in front of a judge. You present evidence. You take her to trial, or whatever the immigration law is, and you kick her out if that's ultimately the remedy. But this is about as bad as it gets. I mean, this is what we also all feared when Trump promised that he would deport millions of people. But in some senses, it's worse because it's being done with such a disregard for the rule of law, such a disregard for due process. This is what fascism actually looks like. This is what, and the fact that, for the most part, people are silent about this. I'm not seeing a lot of press about this. I mean, some, but mostly from the left. I'm not seeing any Republican upset about this. Gangs of government thugs, government thugs are rounding up people at night. They're masked, and they're sending them off to jail without due process. What's the fear if they charged her just like they charge anybody else with a crime? What is the fear that she'll run away? Where's she going to run away to? Maybe she'll run away to Turkey, and then they've done, it's called self-deportation. Anyway, it seems like in her case, this is purely around speech. She was one of 4 students in March, last March, who co-authored an op-ed piece in the Tufts Daily criticizing the university's response to its community union Senate passing resolutions demanding the Tufts acknowledge Palestinian genocide. Anyway, she has horrible ideas. But as far as I can tell, the whole issue here is speech. I don't know exactly what her legal status is, but she is legally in the United States. Has she violated, by writing this op-ed, U.S. immigration law? I don't know, maybe. It's still not the way you deal with it. And it's just one more indication of the just absolute disregard this administration has for the semblance, for any semblance of the rule of law. I mean, there's many ways in which Trump, this administration is turning out to be much worse than even I thought he would be. I mean, it really is horrific. Even if you don't like illegal immigrants, even if you don't think immigration is a right, even if you think, it's horrible that you have all these illegal immigrants. A, she's not an illegal immigrant, one. Even if you hate all immigrants, is this the America you want to live in? An America where people are rounded up at night by masked men and in some cases, shuffled off to prisons in El Salvador? By the way, among the people shuffled off to prison in El Salvador were American citizens. No, sorry, not American citizens, but legal residents in the United States. People who've been granted legal status in the United States. And among them were non-gang members. Is this the America you want to live in? So this is more than this is more than an incompetent, moronic administration. This is more than a shit show. This is a direct assault on the basic rule of law in this country. And once you hold that the rule of law doesn't apply in those cases, then it's just a question of time before we ask the question, well, what about these cases? And what about those cases? And what about you? Does the rule of law apply to you? I mean, you can see this, the complete disregard to the rule of law in executive actions, the executive orders around the law firms. Trump is going down the list of all the law firms who have offended him over the last few years, and he's basically providing a government sanction against them, unless they come to him and grovel and cut a deal, which is what one of the law firms, Paul Weiss, did in a shocking, disgusting way. But it's unbelievable that the President of the United States can extort these law firms, basically hold up their survival, unless they come and grovel at his feet. And again, nobody seems to care. Somebody says crying over illegal immigrants is insane. You're not getting the point, Francis. First of all, crying over illegal immigrants is not insane. They are courageous, most of them, are courageous, productive human beings who are trying to improve their life and basically doing and represent America at its best. But second, I'm not crying over illegal immigrants primarily. I'm crying over America. I'm crying over the fact that you have a president, that we have a president, who has no regard for the rule of law. I'm crying out for the fact that this president is rounding people up, including American citizens, not illegal immigrants, citizens, because he doesn't care about your rights. He doesn't care one iota about individual rights. He doesn't care one iota about the rule of law. He doesn't care one iota about due process. It's not about illegal immigrants. It's about you. Yeah, you know, who cares about illegal immigrants? Who cares about the Jews? Who cares about you? Just a question of time. Yeah, Francis, you don't know what you're talking about, right? Because you're not listening to what I'm saying. And the reality is that, as far as I know, gang members still have rights in this country. And rights do not only exist for citizens. And when you abrogate rights for non-citizens, then the next thing is to take away rights from citizens. You think that by rounding up supposed gang members, many of them were not gang members, even the government has admitted that at least 15% of them were not even gang members. And this woman is not a gang member. She's not violated the law. And you think that rounding them up is going to make you safer? You think that rounding them up is something the government should do? I mean, this is how fascism comes, right? People say, oh yeah, well, they're horrible people. Sure, bad stuff should be done to them. Smash those windows of those Jews. They've been making money off of us all these years. What the hell? And what are they doing in Germany anyway? Germany's not the Jewish homeland. They don't belong here. And then go somewhere else. What's up with these illegal immigrants? What the hell? They don't belong here. Let's just send them away somewhere. Round them up. Due process? Legal? No. That's the old America. That's the America that believed in a constitution. We don't believe in that anymore. And who's next? Who is next? Well, I know who's next. Law firms who disagree with the president. Who's next? University professors who disagree with the president. Commentators on television or media groups who disagree with the president. People can't have the free speech right to support Hamas, can have the free speech right to support Nazis. Ooh, what happens to Tucker if you take away the free speech right to support Nazis? I won't even get into Charlottesville. Once you violate the right of free speech, including speech you hate, believe me, I hate people who support Hamas. But once you violate their right of free speech, well, why not violate my right of free speech? I constantly call Trump a moron. At some point, if I grow big enough, will they come and silence me? Maybe I should stay small. Help me stay small, guys.